Welcome back, everybody, to the Natty 19 podcast. I'm Jonathan Marshall. I hope you had a great week. I know I did.
You didn't.
I know.
I was there.
Do we have any announcements?
That went way different than I thought.
If you like us, go to iTunes, give us a written review. That helps us a ton. We've been getting them coming in, and it's been awesome. We need to get a few more to get, I don't know, to win at life.
And if you don't like us
and if you don't
still listening, keep listening.
And until you like us.
Until you like us.
We'll
and
grow on you.
Wait till
It'll
you
happen.
like us.
It'll happen.
Then write the review.
Yeah. This is what, episode 39?
And if you don't like us and you're still listening to us, well, kudos to you.
Yeah. Well done, sir.
You must really hate us. Just waiting for these guys to fuck up.
Hate them so much.
I hope one of them dies on
When
the
they
show.
fuck up, I'm gonna
No,
go.
I mean the player.
I'm gonna go on iTunes when they do fuck up and leave them the worst review.
Scathing review.
All right. Well, we got look, we are getting into this story now where it's just, I can't even express how concerned I am for my players as a DM. This is a notoriously dangerous section of this campaign, and I am just curious as to how this is all going to play out going forward. We're going to see what happens. We've got a few surprises coming up in the works, so let's get into this. Episode 39. No title yet. Boom. Cue the music. Inbound. I don't know where these trash flies are coming from all of a sudden. They came with Swaney.
One just landed on my
there's one there.
the
one
mouth
there.
of
It's
my
pissing me
water
off.
bottle,
Oh,
like
gross.
right on it.
You know where its legs are.
Ah, gross.
God forbid.
Lord of the Flies over here.
All right. Let's open this up. Zaves. It's been a little while. You begin to come to your senses as a dark, damp room appears around you. The smell of rotten flesh mingled with salt water fills your nose, and you find your hands shackled together at the wrists. Distant, torturous screams echo periodically throughout the ancient stone tunnels. Your cell is barely lit by a dim green glow that seems to originate from a brazier resting on the floor against the wall outside of your cell. Your body aches all over, and it's impossible to know if it's the lingering effects of the toxin or if they'd beaten you time and again. What is Xavril thinking about through this experience so far? Now let's talk about this for a second. For all you know, your companions could be captured as well or dead. You're stripped of all but a tattered cloth robe stained with blood and muck. What's going on in Xavril's head?
My first thought is, damn, not again. My first thought is, going back to the companions I was with that I was supposed to be protecting, when I got hit, and then I guess, trying to figure out where I am and if I could get out, and then how my family's doing. Is this going to be the end of me?
In that process, you try to test the strength of your bindings, and it's either you're too weak or these things are solid as hell. While you're thinking of all this, your head throbs with pain, and you can't help but let out a groan And as you do, you hear a sharp voice approaching your cell from the darkness, female in nature. "Open the cell and leave us," she says as a Malison now appears from the darkness to open your cell. A tall silhouette fades into view, and you see a dark-skinned woman with long braided black hair. And as she moves toward you into the green light, you can now see her lower half is serpentine. A bright-colored silk scarf. You can't tell the exact color because of the green light. Could be yellow. It wraps around her neck, and it falls over her shoulders, covering her breast. And then she steps in. Give me a perception check.
13.
13, all right. With that perception check, you can make out a smaller figure hanging in the back, still in the dark, just on the outskirts of the green glow. There's another presence there that had approached with this taller one, but you can't really make out any more than that.
All right. So I am going to kind of like shift my head over to make it, known that I actually do see this figure. And so what do I owe this pleasure?
Now just a few feet before you, the tall monstrosity stares at you in silence, as though analyzing you. And then after a short while, she speaks. "So many romanticize of the wonders buried beneath this great city. Only some of them stand prepared to face the horrors that lurk within Omu. And even fewer are prepared to find the likes of me." And she lifts a medallion to your face, and you can see engraved on it is a coiled serpent with tiny ruby eyes. And she then presses it against your forehead, and you see the serpent turn to look at you, and its eyes blaze with fire right before it lunges forth. And you can't help but scream in agony as it pierces your mind. And
Well, fuck.
then the screen goes black. Wesson, you've been fighting your entire adult life in the gladiatorial pits of Port Nyanzaru.
That is correct. Port Nyanzaru, gladiatorial pits, sweaty, terrible pits they were.
Not too unlike my own.
Back.
Too unlike my own pits right now. All right. After being diagnosed with a terminal illness, you decided to take your winnings from the arena and head out into the jungles of Chult to try to do something good. You've heard of this death curse that's been plaguing the world.
Yeah, so the winnings have become few and far between, and unfortunately, this lifestyle of fighting just can't be sustained anymore on the body and with my new condition. So with nothing left to lose or live for that matter, I decided to venture out to perhaps be able to seal my fate in peace, to not let this death curse consume my soul in the afterlife, so that at least when I'm dead, I will be at peace.
The questions you had before leaving as you were doing your research took you to a place called Oralunga at the base of the Mistcliff Mountains. After solving the riddles to get in this ancient ziggurat, you met with a very ancient being, a Naga, and for those who don't know, she had the head of a human, beautiful woman, and the entire body from the neck down, a massive serpent.
Ooh.
this ancient being. To get in this ziggurat, a series of riddles. It took you a little while, but you managed to get through. There, you met an interesting fellow by the name of Artist Cimber and his faithful companion, Saurian companion, by the name of Dragonbait. You traveled a little ways together. It's where you got the name. What's going on?
We're just excited because we're hearing about Cimber finally.
Yeah. I'm trying to bring in closing up some loose ends. Closing up some loose ends that you guys.
This is great. Weston's just tying up a lot of knots for.
In Orlunga, you met with this Naga, who at the same time was conversing with this Artist Cimber character, who seemed like a very noble guy, and his companion Dragonbait equally noble, even more so noble, as he wielded a divine longsword. He called it the Holy Avenger. Now, you've traveled days with these companions. You've got to know them. You've got to like them. You haven't gotten much of their past. You've kind of kept it a very cordial relationship, trying not to pry too much. But you did gain that Artist Cimber was just trying to reunite with his lost wife, who had disappeared in the calamity of the city of Mesro.
Lost wife. That sounds like a familiar storyline.
Now he is entirely convinced that his wife is still alive and that he is just awaiting her return. You couldn't quite figure it out, as Mesro had been completely annihilated during the spell plague.
100 years ago, at least?
100 years ago. Something was off. You just kind of figured it was maybe he came down with some mad monkey fever at some point and there was some residual craziness about him. But he was convinced that his wife would return someday. Now, he also said that during opening up to you that he doesn't come out too often to folks about this with this information, but there's something about you that he liked and that he related with. You parted ways just a couple days prior, but that Naga told you that what you seek lies in a long-dead city far to the south. And ever since then, you had been traveling through the thick jungles. And now, you gaze upon this massive, ruined city. You're walking down the stairs and you can't help but get this feeling of dread, as though countless lives have been lost. And as you're coming down the stairs, you hear voices coming from the building ahead of you. Now, the last time you parted with Artis and Dragonbait, they said they too were heading to Omu, but they had to make a stop first. And when you parted ways, it was a very warm parting. It was, may we see each other again.
Sure.
Shortly.
Yeah, I always find traits such as hope quite fascinating. A man looking for his lost wife. What a joke. But there is something beautiful about it. Something that I'd like to aid and become part of.
All right, so as you're heading down the stairs of this ruined city, there is a building. It looks like an old guardhouse. It looked like it once served as a guardhouse. Now it's just in complete shambles. You hear voices from ahead. You can't help but overhear.
I find the ocean rather boring, quite honestly. I'm much happier that we're in this city.
Are you still going on about the ocean?
I'd really appreciate it if you could be a little bit more positive.
You know,
all the time.
Yeah,
Everything bores him. Everything bores you. We get it. You're bored. We get it.
Only boring people get bored.
No, you couldn't help but overhear their conversation. It sounds as though some point in the night, one of their friends had been taken. And as you're approaching, you see a dark-skinned man, clearly a Chultan, with a pack strewn around him. To his side, a large barbarian-looking character wielding a greatsword. They're kind of heading down into the city, maybe about 50 to 75 feet beyond the building. But you still hear these voices talking about some puzzle cubes or something. Now, the Naga that had sent you to Omu was very unclear. as to what purpose would you serve here, only that the answers you seek would be revealed to you. And here you are. What do you do, Wesson?
Well, I'm a bit under the influence of wild herbs I've been carrying around to soothe some of my pains.
Fucking mango leaves, man. They'll get you.
This is pretty common for me. Usually the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I'm in somewhat of a daze, kind of carefree. I approach my new friends or enemies, whoever they may be, and throw out a gentle, "Greetings, friends."
You guys hear a strange voice, a calming voice, come from outside.
This place seems rather populated for an ancient city.
A forbidden city.
You look, and before long, a figure appears in the doorway.
What brings you to the city of doom?
You want to give a brief description of what you look like? I know you got a glaive, maybe a leather tunic.
Yeah, I'm an old fighter from way back, early 40s, I'd say. Picture like a shittier version of Liam Neeson, you know?
Oh, good one.
Like a really roughed up Liam Neeson without the skills. You know, without his particular set of skills. So yeah, roughed up Liam Neeson, just kind of lazy. You know, you can tell he was once something great, a champion of sorts, but now reduced to a shell of a man, if you will. Gray hair, what little he has left, kind of a beer gut, walks with a slight limp, but still, oddly enough, he's
Formidable.
No. Oddly enough, still very attentive. You know, he's out of it, but still, you know, if something moves, you see him. He's quick to it. He's checking it out. He's looking around, and he's alert.
Which one is the glaive again?
Oh, the glaive is
glaive?
like a long stick with like a butcher knife looking like
Okay, yep.
a machete end on it, machete blade end on the tip.
Yeah. So
Quincy will rest his hand on his rapier and say, "Hail, friend." And Quincy looks very much like he is a young man. He's not extremely muscular or anything.
All
you know,
right.
he's just sort of like maybe a slender build, and he has kind of a fuzz mustache, you know, like he can't quite grow like a real mustache yet. And he has dark hair that's parted on his side, like kind of almost nerdy, like.
Friend, what a loose term. I see your mustache. You could put some milk on it, let the cat lick it off if you choose to shave one morning.
Irme gives her ever-known greeting of, hello! Very upbeat, high elf, nerdy-looking, mousy hair, mousy brown hair. For a high elf, she wears glasses, which is actually very odd. High elves have great senses, but something happened to her as a child. She needs to wear glasses. Very, very unassuming for how powerful she is. She's kind of frail-looking bookworm.
All right. Every group needs a nerd, I suppose.
This group has 2. 3 acromasters.
So Copernicus stands up, wipes the dirt off his ass, looks him up and down. Is it manga? Manga leaves? Is it?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Mango leaves are a
You
healing
see
herb that heals you 1 hit point, but if you eat more than 5 in a day, it's like puts you in a deep slumber.
Well, this is
What
his
you've been
internal
doing.
dialogue, I think. He's
Yeah.
looking at him like,
Okay.
does he have manga leaves? I'm very curious.
Wesson stands looking at Copernicus and just kind of wobbling around. Just stares at him awkwardly for about 15 seconds until finally nods. Nope. He nods yes, but says no.
Well, yeah, Copernicus, you know, he's a half drow, so dark skin, the white hair, you know, just like you see him in the books. He's got that voice to him, though. You'll pick that up right away, because he is very handsome, I guess, but he has that scar across his neck
A very gangly, large slash. But yes, so he gets up, wipes the dirt off his ass, looks you up and down, and says, welcome. Welcome, friend.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. What's with that gnarly scar across your neck?
I don't think anybody's ever asked Copernicus about the scar.
You're
You've been waiting
What's the
fucking
story
39
with that thing?
Before Copernicus can talk, Irame is going to say, "Don't let him fool you. Even if he had a normal voice, he wouldn't be any more charming."
And Quincy's just sort of like wiping his hands on his mustache, just trying to smooth it out a little bit.
So I'll repeat myself. What brings you fools to the city of doom?
Oh, we're fools now.
Takes one to know one, my friend.
Well, maybe you've heard of something called the Death Curse.
The death curse. The greatest thing to happen to this world. I'm personally looking forward to it. Eternity of
Captivity.
eternity of captivity and torment. No?
No, not quite.
Perhaps you should have a seat, my friend.
Yes, come in from the jungle.
The heat may have gotten to this man.
We're not the best company, but we're not the worst.
I'll offer him my water skin.
Ah, thank you. I do appreciate that. It's been a long day. I apologize for coming off a bit aggressive. I haven't been myself lately.
Pray, what are you doing here in Omu?
Well, I've journeyed from Port Naranzaru. I'm a fighter from way back, in case you couldn't tell by this incredible physique.
It is like Mr. Dontrack hasn't left us.
Yes. The same hubris arrives just in time.
I have nothing more there for me. Why not take a chance traveling about, and been wondering about this curse. For my time is growing near, and if I want to make anything more of death than I've made of my life, I must find the answer to these questions people are asking about this curse.
What do you mean your time is drawing near?
Irame is going to get uncomfortably close to you and thumb up her glasses.
She's like a dog. She could smell sickness.
Are you sick or something?
You are ill.
Ill. We're all ill. We all have a plague called life. Every day we step closer to death. I may be closer than you, but I'm afraid all of us will meet our maker at some point, or whatever comes next.
Irame widens her eyes to look at Copernicus. We have found someone more negative than you, Copernicus.
It'll be a nice change of pace.
So that's the city that you fought, Port Nyanzaru. The gladiatorial arena earned fame, small fortune.
Did he run the gauntlet?
No.
No.
That's for criminals.
Not a criminal.
That's only
Yeah.
for criminal backgrounds. Yeah.
So Irame is going to stand up and she's going to put her hands on her hips. I think we have found the help that we needed. How serendipitous.
Did you spend a luck point, Arame?
No luck point here. I have a feeling. We have the same goal. Would you venture forward with us?
We have learned quite a bit about this place.
Really? That makes you quite valuable to me. Now, I just have to ask one more time. What happened with this scar on your neck? I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, I understand. But
I was cut from ear to ear. It was a tragic night, friend. It's a long tale. And perhaps one of the nights around the fire we can get into it, but it's...
He kind of trails off. He doesn't want to talk about it.
fair enough.
Irame senses the uncomfortability and says, "For now, we must press forward."
Kramos chimes in. Yes, the puzzle cubes. I might remind you, the Red Wizards are trying to obtain them.
Yes, the Red Wizards.
Cappy's happy to change the subject real quick.
To the Shrine of Shagambi, then.
Yes, you see, Mr. Did we catch your name?
Wesson Fleek.
You see, Mr. Wesson Fleek, we are seeking these.
Where do I know Fleek from?
Because you're on fleek.
Okay.
If one is on fleek, I guess they're on their game.
We're a little older than the average.
Well, I guess I learned this term at work.
Dustin's the youngest.
Somebody
of us
told
all.
me that my eyebrows were on fleek. And I said, excuse me? And they said, your eyebrows, they're on fleek. And I was like,
I know.
Okay.
It almost sounds inappropriate.
yeah. I was like, okay.
On
And-
point.
Yeah, on point is, I guess, what it means.
Wesson Fleek.
You see, we are on a quest at the moment to find these puzzle cubes, and they should help us unlock the secrets of this death curse. That is what we have been led to believe so far.
Excellent. I'm wandering aimlessly, and perhaps I've found an aim. I need answers to this curse, and I would love to join you if you'll have me. I can fight. Not well anymore. Not as well as I used to, but I can fight.
We are in need of a good frontman.
Yeah, it's just the four of us now, and Orvex.
Yes, I am here. I will aid you where I can, my friends. I am no slouch with this crossbow.
Do you need any more rest? Or we were just about ready to head out. This all seems very abrupt, but if you'd like to come with us, I don't see any problem with it. Do you have any mango leaves, though?
Don't dip.
Perhaps the mango leaves will come out later, during the camp. For now, let us travel.
We're going to shift focus back to Xavril. You awaken on the cold stone floor and a figure standing outside of your cell staring at you. Now, you have no idea how long you've been out for. The last thing you remember was that medallion and the snake lunging at you, racking you with pain. And yeah, that figure is...
It's a female figure, humanish, but definitely with some of the Yuan-Ti traits. By now, you would recognize her as a pureblood. She has long dark hair, but with a single braid, not braided like Fanthaza's. She wears a breastplate. On one side of her hip, she has a scimitar, and on the other side, a whip. She wears high-strapped sandals and a skirt that slit pretty high up both sides, both legs. And she says to you, "Greetings, hunter. How do you fare in your new residence?"
I hate the smell of salt water.
You hear in the distance screams.
I feel like garbage and this place stinks. What do you want with me? Where are my friends?
Your friends are safe for now. They say that you carry whips. I must say, knowing that you wield such a weapon, one that requires finesse and expertise, well, that just makes you a little less repulsive to me. As you can see, I too favor the whip. I am here to set your mind at ease. What do they call you? What do the humans call you?
My name is Xavril. And may I have yours?
You can call me Svitlangi. And I must say that I am your only friend here.
Well, doesn't sound reassuring. So what do you want with me?
Be happy you have one, hunter. I am here to help you. I imagine you do not want this to be your permanent home.
I do not wish to stay here any longer than I have to.
Well, then you must listen very closely to what I have to tell you. Unfortunately, I cannot help you immediately, but I do have a plan in the works. In the meanwhile, I have something for you. And you see her remove a small vial that looks like it can be easily concealed from her pouch, and she hands it over through the bars to you. And she looks completely unafraid, like she's not worried about what you might do to her.
I was going to cast Zone of Truth to see if she was telling the truth.
Yeah, so Xavril starts muttering, and he starts drawing symbols in the air with his shackled hands.
Can I make an Arcana check to see what he's casting?
Yeah.
13.
What's your spell DC?
My spell DC is 12.
You recognize that he's casting Zone of Truth, but you also know that there's an anti-magic field on the cell.
Your magic won't work here, Hunter. I am telling you the truth. And besides, what are your options? She's holding the vial before you.
All right. I mean, I'll reach over there and grab it. I just wanted to make certain that she wasn't trying to feed me poison, like blatantly lying about it.
It's difficult to see in this dim light. It just looks like a black vial.
Take but one drop of this after every rest, and it will help you resist the pain and the torture of the interrogations. This will buy us time. You must trust me. Neither one of us have much of a choice here.
How can I be certain you won't try to turn me into...
I've done all I could for now, Hunter. But we will see each other again.
I'm certain we will.
And with that, she stands up straight, and she disappears into the darkness.
All right, we're going to shift back to the party here. As you were making your way back to the Shrine of Shigambi, as you guys are approaching the shrine, you notice the blood splatters on the broken cobblestone where you had slayed those two commandants. The corpses had been dragged off at this point. You almost wonder what had dragged them off, but then you realize that it could have been any number of wildlife that had grabbed them and taken them for sustenance. Yeah, so here you are. Akramas is getting giddy almost as he's... This
All
is
right,
what he's been
slow
waiting.
down, friend.
He's like, of course, I'm excited. I've been studying the shrine.
Cappy's looking around on the ground for any more of those tracks or any other signs of those beasts that attacked us before.
The commandant, no, but where the broken wagon where the babies were nesting?
Right.
Why don't you give me a perception check?
11.
Just him or us?
Anybody who's checking it out
I'm gonna
or
check
walking
it out.
by it.
Quincy's with the red wizard. He too loves puzzles.
10. Only a 10 for Cappy.
21.
21, Irma. You notice you and Copernicus are walking past that old broken merchant's wagon where the commandant babies were found. You notice something glimmer in the sunlight as you were walking by it.
I will go check it out.
Roll for initiative. No, just
No.
kidding. Yeah.
I'm like it's a ring of protection.
Close. Under some Spanish moss, you notice a tarnished ring.
Shut the fuck up.
It's a tarnished ring.
What'd you
Irame.
find, Irame?
I don't know yet.
You know my birthday's coming up very shortly. What is this, the 15th of Hammer?
You have plenty of
It's 3
things.
days until
You have
my
plenty of
birthday.
things protecting you, Copernicus. Let me look at it first. And Irame will reach down.
You guys notice these guys fighting over a ring.
I've heard this story before.
You reach down, you grab the ring, and you look at it. It's a tarnished ring, just a simple silver band.
Can I? Shit. I think I'm gonna have to give it to Quincy to figure out what it is.
Oh, do it detect magic?
Yeah, if he can. Quincy, do you know what this is, or if it has any magical properties?
Do we know if I could do an Arcana check to identify before burning my identify spell?
I thought that was during a rest. You make an Arcana check and you can identify it,
Gotcha.
or maybe you don't even need an Arcana check.
Where did we fall on the spell components? Was it burned or not burned? My pearl.
Oh,
Not burned.
Not
Not
burned. Not burned.
Okay, so then I guess I will. First is detect magic a cantrip.
Love this world. You find any
detect
ring or
magic's
trinket,
first level spell.
immediately you're like, is it magical? Or he's like,
You know what? Since detect magic is a first level spell and identify is a first level spell, I might just go ahead and do identify.
Yep. So what are you doing?
Casting identify on the ring.
All right. It's a ring of protection +1.
Ooh.
Everything's so serendipitous today.
And it must be attuned.
It is just a piece of junk, Erme. You do not want this ring.
Quincy,
It is a curse upon it.
you are the worst liar
It's a
I've ever
curse.
met in my
It
life.
is a cursed ring.
Terrible liar.
No. He definitely shares the information with Erme. It looks like you are in luck, Erme.
Wait a minute, we're not doing a roll-off.
Yeah, fuck you. I got 25 hit points. I just died.
Everybody else has fallen to the ground many times. You're making a big thing out of this.
I'm making a big thing at Quincy. Forgive the language, but are you shitting on me?
Snobby, rich, elven girl will get her way.
Attuning an item requires a short rest. So how long is a short rest?
4.
2 hours.
Oh,
I
is
thought.
it?
Thought it was 2 hours.
Is it
I
long?
think it said 1 hour.
Even
Short
1
rest.
hour, yeah.
What?
Yeah, short
Way
rest
easier
is
than I thought.
fucking-
I thought a full was 8 and a half was 4.
Yeah,
not
it's
half, it's
weird
short.
now.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right.
Yeah, it's 8 for the full.
Short rest
Short's
is
1
at
to
least
2.
1 hour long, during which a character does nothing more than does nothing more strenuous than eating, drinking, reading, and tending to wounds. So you don't even have to be
That's
sleeping. or
Irme's
anything, you just
favorite
be-
things to do.
All right, so so you make that discovery, and this ancient-looking shrine is set before you. The building itself is crumbling, but yet at the same time, while it appears to be crumbling, there's something strong and durable and sturdy about it, as if this shrine will last forever.
I know I've already checked some of the other buildings here, but is this... Can I tell who built this shrine?
What are the parameters of that again?
It's an archaeologist ability, and it just says I could ascertain the purpose of ruins or dungeon and determine the race of builders.
Yeah, the race of builders was Chultans, and the purpose was to hold something precious and maybe test and perform a test to those who are worthy or unworthy of obtaining such a
While
precious
Quincy is
object.
investigating, Irme will approach him and thank him for his time and energy with the ring.
You're always welcome, Erme. I enjoy doing these kind of things for my friends.
Copernicus will fill Weston in.
They do this all the time. Hold us up, rituals, bunch of ass patting. You'll get used to it. How about some of the mango leaves? Why don't you stop holding out on me? Look, I know you're new, but yeah, I've been really looking for some for a long time.
Irme, who seems too far away to hear, will say, "Don't give him any mango leaves," and then keep looking with Quincy.
All right, so I marked where you guys are at on the map of Omu. So you're right there on Omu, if you want to look over there. Here you are. That's the Shrine of Shigambi. And now, as you enter the shrine from the southern doorway, right here,
That is not the map I was trying to sneak answers from when we were preparing. Fuck.
steps descend into a 15-foot high, moss-covered room. 4 statues of what appears to be Omuan warriors stand in alcoves to either side, overlooking a barred gladiatorial pit in the floor. Each statue looks like it was meant to hold a spear, but its weapon is missing. On the far side of the chamber, a stone pedestal stands conspicuously bare. A relief on the wall behind it shows a monstrous jaguar with 6 snakes protruding from its shoulders. And it seems to be fighting off a spear-wielding grung, which are the frog people. To the left of the relief is a narrow tunnel with stairs leading down. Okay, so the relief is right here. There's a pedestal right here. I'm pointing to the map for the listeners now, for the players. So you enter from the south. In the center of the room, this gladiatorial cage that it's built into the floor. You can look down. You see in it, it's a barren room. Looks like pit fighters used to fight in there. And there's an entrance down in there on either side, the east and west wall. To the north of that is the pedestal coming out of the floor. And behind the pedestal on the wall, to the right of the staircase leading down, is a relief. It looks like a plaque of sorts. And from this distance, you can tell that there's writing on it, but you can't read it from this far away.
Cappy will slowly advance on it, going on the right side of the pit.
Quincy is going to hold his hand up to stop Copernicus from moving forward.
Oh, and also the four statues. See where those stars are in the alcoves? There's 2 statues on the east, 2 on the west. And their hands, they looked as if at some point they were holding spears, but now they are
And
not.
on the relief, once again, what was on the relief? A grung? The one that we can see.
Oh, yeah, it looked like a Camadon, the
I'm sorry.
jaguar with the snakes protruding from its shoulders, is fighting a spear-wielding grung. And the grung, for Wesson, is a little, like a 3-foot-tall frog warrior. They're like humanoid frogs.
All right.
Primitive.
Yeah, Quincy holds his hand up to prevent Copernicus from moving too far forward. It appears the puzzle box, whatever was on that pedestal, is no longer here. But I would still approach with caution.
Yes, I don't know. It came over me. Just got excited.
Who's good at looking for traps? I have a little bit of perception.
My perception is decent.
Wesson, your eyes are always dotting left and right.
Do you see anything?
I suppose I really have nothing to lose. Let's do a perception check here.
All right, give me a roll.
Yeah.
And I'm sure one of
works.
us will be aiding him. So
Yeah, all
in
right,
the
so
traps.
do it with an advantage then. So roll it twice and take the highest number.
16.
Did you add your?
Oh, 16 plus 4,
20.
20. And 17.
21.
Well, no, that's way.
Oh, gotcha.
Learns
So
quick.
20.
does.
You don't notice any traps. How far in are you going? Are you kind of covering this whole this whole room that you just entered as you go?
I kind of walk in about 10 paces, kind of casually, a little overconfident.
So yeah, you cover it. It's after about 10 minutes of searching the room, doing a perception check. The only thing you notice in the relief against the wall, where the picture is and where there's writing, you notice tiny holes in the wall relief, and there's maybe about 20 of them at a quick glance. It looks maybe like a grate or a vent or something. But yeah, you notice these tiny holes. They're maybe about a quarter of an inch.
Sounds like a trap.
Poisonous gases, perhaps.
And there is writing on the relief below that picture. And now that you're close, you can see it. And I mean, I don't know what you guys are doing while he's doing it. It takes him about a good 10 minutes to really look over the room and make sure there's no traps or anything. So
Irme is going to mention, if we think the cube isn't here, why bother with the traps and risk our lives?
Well, we do not know for certain. I was making conjecture based on the fact that the pedestal that we see is empty. But there is a stairway going down to another level. We do not know what's there.
So we move on. Okay.
now that you guys are moving into the room, on that pedestal, you do notice creases, a square crease on the center, as though it almost looks like a hatch of sorts on it, which gives you the idea that something may be in it. And Akramos, excitedly, says, "There is no reason for us to believe that the puzzle cube has been taken from here. There is still hope, my friends."
Well, no, after we saw the creases, I didn't think that.
So what does the writing say under the vents?
The writing says,
What's it say, Wesson?
At noon, a brave Commandant hopped down from her rock. She chased the evil in the Amoans' hearts and decided to lance it like a troublesome boil. The Commandant fashioned a holy spear, but she left it by the riverbank, and the crafty Grung stole it. In her rage, Shagambi the Commandant forgot all about the Amoans and chased the Nang Nang.
chase naming
Chased the Nang Nang.
Nang Nang the Grung.
The Grung forever across the sky.
Interesting. What is this nang-nang?
What is this, Nang Nang?
What is this nang-nang? Both of you had problems saying it.
Yeah, Nang Nang. And I just posted
Thank
it to
you.
the chat there.
All right.
So you could
I
reread
actually
it.
followed you like perfectly that time. I locked in. I locked in on every word.
I was totally relying on you to back me up on the needing the script, and you just failed me.
Well, so you can, if you want, I don't know
First
who
time
wrote
ever.
down the other one, but I'll post it there. So whoever's writing these down, this is relate. If you notice, what did the last one say? Do you remember who wrote that one down?
Were we writing them?
The one that Akramos said.
We just assumed you saved it for us.
Oh, okay.
That was a long
What?
thing from
What?
Akramos
Yeah,
about
the Zorbo?
stew.
About the
The
Zorbo and the
Okay,
soup.
so
Yeah.
a Zorbo appeared from the jungle. She cooked a stew from the good qualities of the Omuin to give to Ubtao. However, a sneaky little Almirage
Yep.
snuck into the soup, and so Ubtao spit the soup out, thinking that sneakiness is not a good quality, and so abandoned the city. Zorbo and the Almirage have forever since been enemies.
There was one. Okay, so the thing that you didn't write down, which is probably the most important, is how it starts. It says, "One morning, a wise Zorbo emerged from her hollow tree."
Okay. Now
Spoke
this
to
is
the
at
dying.
noon.
Oh.
And it's a rock.
Right. So Omu was saved in one day. So you have what happened in the morning, and now what happened at noon. And I'll you know what I'll do? I'll post these in our group too.
That would
so
be
you
great,
Can,
yeah.
So throughout the week you can digest them. But moving on, that's what that says. There's nothing else in this room other than that. There's just the 4 alcoves with the statues with the missing spears, the pedestal with a seal. There appears to be no way of opening this on the pedestal, and then there's that right behind the pedestal against the wall. There's the relief with the picture, the writing, and the little holes.
Is there anything remarkable about the pedestal?
Nothing remarkable at all, other than it's just a stone pedestal with a hatch that appears to not have a method of opening.
All right. I'm looking at this map, and what I'm seeing here, the stairways leading down. So I'm looking down into the pit. Can I assume there's 2 to the west and east hallways at the bottom of the pit?
You don't have to assume. I already told you guys that.
Okay, you did.
Yeah, there's down in
Alright.
the pit. There's a door to the east, door to the west.
West. All right.
Yeah.
Quincy's going to start muttering some words beneath his breath and cast knock upon the pedestal. And if you need to know what the spell does, choose an object that you can see within range. The object could be a door, a box, a chest, a set of manacles, a padlock, or another object that contains a mundane or magical means that prevents access. A target that is held shut by a mundane lock or that is stuck or barred becomes unlocked, unstuck, or unbarred. If the object has multiple locks, only one of them is unlocked. If you choose a target that is held shut with an arcane lock, the spell is suppressed for 10 minutes.
As you're casting the spell, something... What?
I don't like it.
It'll be okay.
No, as you cast the spell, for whatever reason, you can't understand why, but it does not open, which only instills your belief that there is only one way to open this.
What were you doing there, Quincy?
I was trying to force this open through arcane means.
Perhaps force is not the answer. What is the answer to the Shigambi cube? Wisdom?
I don't... Is knock like a force? I don't
No.
think it's a force.
I was
Okay,
No.
using the
All
word
right,
for
all
it.
right,
I wasn't
right.
using
Yeah.
it like that. So.
Gotcha. Yep, so then... all that's really left is the stairway going down and the statues without spears.
Perhaps we could find clues here by investigating the rest of this temple.
Was it wisdom for the
It
Shigambi?
was wisdom.
What's down those stairs, Wesson?
Why am I always the one to go look on the stairs?
All right, Weston, you cautiously descend the short stone stairs, and you find yourself in utter darkness because you're human and you don't have night vision.
Copernicus will cast Dancing Lights. He can do that as a drow ability. Once.
All right, so now that the place lights up with these dull greens and purples.
Wesson kind of takes a step back, and it's a little too much for him. A little too bright immediately, and I just kind of, I'm dazed for a quick second. Finally, I get my grip so I can see.
Yeah, and now you see the narrow 5-foot wide stone tunnel makes an immediate left. And as you look around, if you look around that corner, you see down the hall another left. Cobwebs line the floor and ceiling, and based on the shrine's design, you can guess that this passage will lead to the gladiator pit that you look down in from the ground level. On the walls, there's ancient swords and shields, spears, but none of they're almost all decayed, almost all useless now.
Holy shit.
Spears.
Yeah.
Spear has something to do with this place.
It must. I mean, the 4 statues at the beginning, spears, and then in the relief, spears, and then in the tale of Shagambi, spears, once again.
Did any of you look at the statues before we started coming down here?
Not any further than that they should be holding spears.
Should we do a perception check on the statues, or are they just...
They're just statues of Chultan warriors. They almost look like gladiators. You know, Wesson would recognize them immediately. They look like gladiators that are wielding spears and shields. But,
Do any of us
or
even
that would be wielding spears
have a
and shields.
spear?
Well, as we're heading down the stairs, Cappy will stay right behind you, Wesson. Kind of put a hand on your shoulder to reaffirm you. We're okay.
Irme is
With
with,
you in the
Quincy
Do you tickle
behind.
his shoulder with your
Yeah, the
Not
drow
yet.
finger.
We're not that
yet. We're not
close
close. Quincy, or I mean, Irme is behind with Quincy, probably speaking of the riddles, trying to figure out what's going on here as far as the relief sayings and the statues.
Yeah, is it appropriate to do a history check here? Or is this going to be outside of the realm of anything I might have learned?
You could do a history check. Go ahead and give me one, and I'll give you what I think would be appropriate.
I'm rolling my heavy die. 19.
That nets you a. This looks like ancient Chultan history. This brings you to a time long before Port Nyanzaru, long before Wakanga, long before Zimwabi and the Zintis and the Taguda village. This takes you to where Chult was during its prime, when Omu was the god of Chult.
Primordial, if you will.
But that's it.
Yeah, so Quincy's just going to keep following those guys, but he's just eyeing the stonework, the pictures, the weapons.
I mean,
just
you
trying
get
to
a
pick up
very
clues.
gladiatorial, honorable, everything surrounding gladiatorial matches. You
Inside
get
a
that
shrine, a gladiatorial pit inside a shrine.
Yes.
right.
So it'd be like, imagine if you walked into a church and there was a 10-foot fucking pit where the people killed each other inside of it.
Well, not only
That'd
that,
be
but
kinda-
this is supposed to be the Shrine of Wisdom. Like, how
Well,
does that not throw you for a loop? This isn't the Shrine of Strength.
It's the
or
shrine of a
Shrine
person, and that person is
Nang nang.
Shagambi,
Shagambi. Well, Shagambi.
who was chasing Nang Nang.
Yes.
And somebody wrote Ogambi equals wisdom in the place that we're staying, but we
Yes.
don't really know why they wrote that.
And how would a spear, in turn, release the square relief that's within that pedestal?
I do not know.
Yeah, as you follow along, you do eventually come to the archway that does lead you into that caged gladiatorial pit.
Does the pit have sand in it?
No, it is a stone floor.
Irme looks to their new friend Weston and is like,
Shall we proceed?
As we come into this hallway, what are we seeing there on the right? It looks like more pictures on the wall on the map.
No, that's just
Weapon racks.
weapon racks
Okay.
with, ancient weapons. It looks like if you touch them, they'll crumble.
This pit must be quite something for you, being somewhat of a gladiator yourself.
Brings back many memories, yes.
To think you are part of a tradition that goes back many, hundreds, thousands of years?
A tradition that began with human emotions with themselves.
Irme is going to put her hand on Weston's shoulder and say, I told you, you're supposed to be here.
So it would seem.
As you enter the gladiatorial pit. Now this, I just opened up a map. This is obviously
Beautiful
at a different
flooring.
angle.
I mean, I'd like to know, we need to redo our
Fancy
fucking kitchen.
Grounds is so tight.
You enter, and upon entry, let's see, who's going in first? Let's get a little bit of a marching order.
Irme wants to be in the front, as much as that seems odd.
All right.
right.
I picture Wesson also
Yeah.
being in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pictured Weston with my hand on his back, so I'm right behind him. So
I'll
you
be
could
behind.
be.
I'll follow Copernicus.
You
Well,
don't
we
want
can
to be
go
up next to him?
You can
Yeah,
go
I'll
side
be
by
on-
side.
Yeah, side by side.
Don't have to go single file.
This is very stressful.
Is it?
None of it makes sense yet. I wasn't expecting to meet or to be in a place that Irme considers to require brute force in a place that required wisdom. She's confused. She's...
I wouldn't say knock is brute force. I mean, I could have easily used the word coax.
Yeah, but it's a gladiatorial pit is what I'm referring to.
Oh, sorry. I was still thinking about
No, I'm thinking like
the knock spell.
we're in a place that requires brute force, and she was thinking we were in a place that needed problem solving. So each of these squares is 5 feet?
Yeah.
All right.
Actually,
That's
wait a
Irme?
minute.
No.
Something's, hold
John
on.
chose
they're-
that because he
Busted.
sucks. Yeah,
what a
dude.
busted ass fucking elf.
Could you fuck off?
You got like that lip thing.
Oh.
going.
Hold on,
my God.
I have a, that was,
I didn't pick that picture. I mean, she's got the mousy hair, though, so that's accurate. So I know.
as you guys enter,
Who is that?
what?
I can't even make out the facial features of...
Copernicus.
Is it Copernicus?
That's Copernicus.
Nice.
So as you guys enter this room,
I feel like you asked us where we were and then just put us where you wanted
Yeah.
to.
Roll with it. Roll with it.
well, where do you want to be?
No, it's okay. I don't care.
I'm supposed to be
Just-
right behind Wesson. Or he's right in front of me.
I think it's right that Quincy and Quincy and Irme are talking and trying to problem solve as we enter an area where our intellect isn't going to matter at all.
All right.
I wouldn't be so certain here, man.
Perhaps.
As it is probably when the third of you gets in the room, the weight of 3 of you is enough for the entire floor to shift down maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And at that moment, a loud echoes throughout the halls.
Wesson, it was your job to find traps.
In the distance ahead, through the tunnel ahead of you, you hear cages dropping. Sounds like a type sound. And then you hear the stomping of stone on stone coming down the hallway towards you. And before long,
What do we unleash?
4
Hold fast.
clay guardians wielding spears and shields file into the room as though they're awaiting a gladiatorial fight. We'll see you next time.
No, I want to fight tonight.
So this is probably going to be the fight that kills everyone. questions you had led you to a place called Oralunga at the base of the Misty Cliff. What was the name? Mist Peak Mountain.
I think you had it with Misty Cliff.
Hold on.
No, the mountain range to the
Record scratch.
northwest, is it? I forget the name too.
I'm raising the map.
Yeah, Copernicus didn't write any of that down because he saw his scholarly friends doing it. How do you pronounce that properly, guys?
Scholarly.
Scholarly.
Say it like there's 3 syllables.
Scholarly.
No,
Lee.
scholarly. Like Jet Li. Scholarly.
Scholarly.
Every time you said it, I don't even want to fix it because it just fits Copernicus so well. Then I'm like, leave
I
scholarly
thought he was
in
doing
there.
it on purpose.
No, I was thinking about on the drive over here because I'm like embarrassed because you guys are all laughing at me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I was like, how am I supposed to say it?
If it
it's
makes-
like crayon and crayon. I
it
say
makes-
crayon.
I say milk
What'd
instead
you
of
say?
milk
What
instead
the fuck
of milk.
is wrong with you?
The last time I was in Florida, the first night I was there, this guy that I met that I didn't know before was like, "Who's better, the Beatles or the Rolling Stones?"
Beatles, hands down.
Really?
And it's a tough call.
Without even thinking about it, Beatles are like 1 million times better.
Stones have quite a few songs
know, that are dude.
very Beatlesque. That if
They both have really shitty songs, and they both have
I hate to
really
be an
good
ass.
ones.
10:40.
bring it in.
Yeah, can we play D&D?
every
Bring it
day
in.
after that.
You guys are getting carried away.
Every day that I was there after
Something.
that,
You just got
all I
down
heard
here.
was
but I'm-
Beatles and Rolling Stones on the fucking radio. Like everywhere I went, playlists, radios.
Oh, I love
Just another
America.
normal day,
Okay, just want to let you know.
Well, I don't know.
We can
I didn't hear
discuss
him
it.
today,
We can
for
discuss it
example.
throughout the week. Welcome back, everybody, to the Natty 19 podcast. I'm Jonathan Marshall.